good news. On Monday, we did officially vote on Brian and Sarah Neestrath.
Good job.
Did I say it?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Seems like I should be able to with Green Bandit and Patrick Butch with Rogue Ganja. So thank you so much. Welcome to being official members. Our first official voted on members after the original founders, which pretty much were just voting themselves on. So congratulations. And thank you, Aaron, for trying to systemize that process out. It was a good kind of a run for more of an official applicant interview. We got some good questions, so we kind of know, like, in the future we'll be able to interview applicants and then have kind of a little bit more of a process of how that process could go, as well as like onboarding. And you guys, I still have paperwork for you to sign, and so I will get that to you, over to you. I'm actually officially on vacation right now, so I'm supposed to be not working. It's my anniversary today.
Oh, happy
Hey.
anniversary.
20 years.
Happy anniversary.
Holy
Wow.
wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do deserve a big round of applause for that. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, so let's go ahead until Catherine's ready to introduce herself. Why don't we just kind of kick off? We had a lot of conversations at our board meeting that I felt like we should bring into this conversation. A lot of them had to do with kind of operations. We have 2 new farm owners now that are bringing their inventory onto the linked, the Leaf Link page. So I'll just go ahead and hand it over to you guys to, if you want to further that discussion, or if there's any other discussion that you would prefer to talk about. I always love talking about like sales initiatives and whatnot. And I know Garrett's here too. And actually, I don't mean to like derail myself, but maybe we should, since we're recording this meeting, we can have you introduce Garrett again, Kristine, and maybe Garrett could like talk a little bit more.
Okay, Garrett has been our sales representative. Like we've been salary based because obviously we don't have enough sales to support any kind of commission based anything right now, but he is super passionate about cannabis. He's worked as a bud tender, and I feel like he represents our like core values really well, and he represents each of our farms really well. He's been able to develop rapport with quite a few accounts. I feel like because of him, we've been able to get in at, like, we've been mostly selling at that 600. When we do get into a dispensary, they usually buy and they usually rebuy. And I think it's because of Garrett's rapport he's developed. You want to reintroduce yourself, Garrett?
Yeah. So like I said, my name's Garrett Farmer, local, born and raised from around here. Really just kind of grew up in the industry and involved myself in the industry as many ways as I can. Kind of got this opportunity through Scott, Kristine, Devin, everybody, and just really excited, ready to bring all my education I've learned, especially I was a bud tender at Tamarins there, led sales for a couple of years there at Merlin. Basically ran the joint. It was another for a couple other managers, but great training. I do credit them a lot for my training. That's one of the things, when I do come into the dispensary, I'm letting those guys know, what our product's about, all those terpenes, how they're going to affect you, the entourage effect, everything, all the stuff that really all these consumers aren't really thinking about nowadays. You get all these THC chasers nowadays that come into dispensaries, and they're not really, in the long run for the medicinal part of it. There's so many other beneficial parts to cannabis other than just THC. So that's kind of one of my big points I like that there. And like I said, being affordable is also very nice. That $500 to $600 range for craft cannabis is I think very good price, especially, I mean, some of the stuff I get called indoor, that they will walk into a place, they think it's our indoor cannabis or indoor cannabis. So it's been a good experience, kind of learning curve as well for me, learning where price points sit and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to see all the different farm owners on here and kind of get to meet with all you guys and get to see all your product as well, and kind of, see how it works and, taste, all that sort of stuff. I'm a huge connoisseur, all that sort of stuff, and dabs and concentrates, everything like that. But I'm really excited for the future to come. And yeah, any questions you guys might have or anything like that on sales, let me know. If there's anything, experience you guys have, or you got a connection somewhere, and I might have the same connection. There's lots of different routes we can take coming into dispensaries. So
Thank you, Garrett.
Thank you. Thank you.
Garrett's on the front lines.
Yeah.
Like super. I mean, that's the feeling we have when we go out for the sales. It's like, man, this is it. All of the work is behind, and that what you do, Garrett, is like it's certainly gotten a lot tougher in the last few years. But man, I have my hats off to you. Anytime you close a sale, that's a job well done. It's not an easy thing to do now. So I look at salesperson like they should put a flak jacket on almost. Anyway,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm glad to talk to somebody and hear from somebody who's got that dispensary experience and all that you do. I think that that's a good starting place for us as a group, I would say.
Yeah, coming from that background, it's cool coming in. I know how to run everything on the other side, so it's nice coming in to a dispensary and knowing kind of the ins and outs and where they can buy, stuff like that.
Cool, awesome.
Okay, awesome. So we can go into a couple of directions. I actually did not. I usually have an agenda, and I think I'm going to continue to work on that agenda to make sure that when we start the meeting, we can be kind of on point with things. But we've had this is our 5th meeting, I think, and it pretty much the agenda gets derailed because we have a lot of things that we want to talk about. And I definitely don't want to dictate it. So I can refer to the agenda if for example, we are kind of at a standstill with things to talk about, which I don't think that will happen because we have so much to talk about. Now, Kristine, I was kind of giving you the floor in order to talk potentially about the more of the operations, but that's kind of a big conversation. And Aaron wanted to talk a little bit more, kind of digress a little bit, since we were just introducing Sarah and Brian and Patrick, and we were talking about kind of an onboarding process, accepting application process. Let's move back a little bit. And Aaron, did you want to take the floor regarding code of ethics?
Sure. So it's something I've been working on, mainly research-based, and I wanted to bring it up to you, what I've came across so far. So there's basically 3 different types of code of ethics. There's the compliance-based code of ethics, which will be very easy for our industry because we all know what compliance-based rules we all abide by. And that should be pretty standard and easy for us to agree upon what our code of ethics are. However, when it comes to this certain type of code of ethics, there is a position that needs to be opened up within our organization called a compliance officer. Now, the compliance officer is a very important position within our organization. However, there is some pressure for the compliance officer because overall the compliance officer can be seen as a bad guy because they are their role is to help hold the individuals accountable to the group, because the whole basis for a code of ethics is so that individually we don't have to hold each individual member accountable. They are accountable to the code of ethics, and the compliance officer is accountable to upholding each member accountable to holding them to it. The members are accountable for such, but they're associated to the accountability for the organization. So the next group of is a value-based code of ethics, and that's the main thing that we should be having our conversations about and coming up with a group consensus, because this aligns directly with our core values. It will basically outline standards of responsible conduct as they relate to the larger public and environment. Value-based codes of ethics may require a greater degree of self-regulation than the compliance-based codes. So this is really where our conversation goes. What standard are we holding members to when they're outside of our sphere of observation? So this is like something when a farm has a sales route planned, and they are and currently obliged to including other farms, at least talking about the other farms products and encouraging the aspiration to representing SOFF, which this will lead me into the next code of ethics, which is the code of ethics among professionals. So an example of a code of ethics among professionals would be like the SEC, so like Security and Exchange Commission, when you have publicly traded companies, and not just publicly traded companies. This is when you're working for individuals as a professional. When you are in that state, you are bound by a fiduciary duty, and these code of ethics actually carry along with a level of preservation above yourself. So for example, if we were to be engaging in a code of ethics with Southern Oregon Family Farms, this would go a step above what I just mentioned with value-based, where it's like your job is, or not, within the ethics, you need to be representing SOFF. Well, this is actually stating you're there doing distribution for SOFF, and you're presenting all the options as if they're all your own, and the bud tender, may or may not know that which bud is yours. I personally, when I go out on sales routes, I like to go about it this way. When I say, oh yeah, these ones are from my farm, but by no means do I put my product first. No means do I try to sell my product any more than the others. I personally love this because when somebody picks my pound out, when in comparison to every other pound on the table, it makes me feel good, and it helps me to feel confident about what I'm bringing to market, because I know personally that Southern Oregon Moonshine and Circle D's products are above and beyond what other stuff I see in the market. So I love being at the table with them, and I love also when people say, oh, your stuff is just as good. Or on the flip side, I also get some internal assessment about how my product is stacking up against other products on our menu. So I think that will conclude kind of my main points as far as the code of ethics. I think it's a conversation that we need to develop alongside our core values. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Aaron. We definitely need to set up some sort of committee or something like that in order to work on that. Sarah and Brian, did you have something you wanted to respond to say?
Oh, just back when you were talking about you usually have an agenda. I was just going to ask if whenever you do have an agenda, if you could email that to everybody before meetings, so we could see that.
I'm going to proclaim this meeting that I will always have an agenda and send it out before the meeting, like it's official. This is, this meeting, we have a board meeting in which we definitely stay to an agenda. But yeah, and I think that in the trying to push things forward, we do need to make sure that we are not just reinventing, going over things that we've already hashed out, and instead pushing things forward. And the way you do that is through documentation, hence an agenda. I just want to be careful that this is a general meeting. This is kind of like our networking meeting in a way. It's not a committee meeting. It's not a meeting that is specific to any one thing. This is where you can invite people to come learn about the organization, that kind of thing. If we want to have like subcommittee meetings, committee meetings, we got to set those up. If there's meetings in order, like maybe just a few of us get together to hash out certain things, that's a separate meeting. But this is very much kind of like more of in my mind, a free-flowing meeting. I will do an agenda, because until there's other meetings, it's other types of meetings. This meeting is also serving as our kind of general Southern Oregon Family Farms meeting, in which we want to be able to pull push various balls forward. And so for that reason, I agree that we should go ahead and adhere to an agenda, but I don't want it to be like, I want it to be like guidelines, like Johnny Depp says in Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I don't, but I think I get the picture. Just a general,
Yeah.
a general guideline. We can obviously digress.
Yeah, if I don't want it to be like in violation of some sort of code, public meeting code, if we deviate from the agenda.
No, yeah, that's good to know too, is like, this is more of an informal meeting. This isn't a board meeting. It's the more of the social touch base kind of thing. So general topics that we may or may not touch on.
But it is important to write things down so that we just don't rehash. And I know we have a lot to talk about. But Aaron, thank you so much for making sure that's a priority in our mind. So let's go ahead and let's see, is Catherine available yet? Catherine, just make yourself available when you're ready to introduce yourself. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Sorry, I lost my voice.
Oh, you lost your voice. Oh no.
Bummer.
Are you good
Sorry,
for this?
Catherine.
Do you want to just plan on meeting with us next week, or?
That would be better. Also, we're a little distracted with the baby here this morning also. But
Okay.
All of you guys, if you guys are meeting next week, that might be better, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We feel honored to be invited. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Catherine. You're welcome to listen in if you want to. But we'll bug you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Glad to see Eddie's. Oh, I am on. So glad to see Eddie still here. Good to see you, man. I appreciate you and all that you're doing.
Thank you so much for your dedication to this. That means a lot for sure. And the perspective you bring to it is just incredible.
Absolutely. It's enjoyable to just hang out and see what's going on and, be kind of just have my finger on the pulse of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's valuable.
So I want to open it up to like topics that feel like priorities. Kristine, you want to lead that then?
I just have a few things I wanted to touch base on. Is I really liked Aaron jumping on the code of ethics. So if that's okay with everybody, Brandy's going to start like a living Google document that we can all just kind of start adding into. We'll just put code of ethics, and maybe Aaron can jump on first and put his ideas since he has some, and then we can all add our own stuff into it. And then maybe in a few weeks we'll be able to like kind of have a code of ethics that way, but that way at our free time we can go in there and add to it. And then I also Garrett made a good point, and it's been on our agenda for a little bit, but we haven't been able to do it, is our leaf link description is shit. Basically, it's copied off of our website, and it doesn't hit very well. If somebody like opens up to read our menu, it's like meh. So maybe I think I do have a Google document started, but maybe we'll just make a brand new one, and we'll just do, okay, our code of ethics, our leaf link description, like who are we as a co-op, and what do we want people to think about when they first open our leaf link account. And then also we might want to consider updating, now that we've grown so much over the last 3 months as an organization, we might want to like finalize or like update our website a little bit too. And then Gabe texted me this morning and said that he wasn't going to be able to make it, but he is working. I'm trying to pull that email up really quick. He's working on a scope of work and proposed deliverables for us. So he should have them by our next meeting, saying like what he thinks he can do to help us, which I like that. I feel like he has, again, like Justin has like this really broad forward motion because he's not in the trenches, and Gabe is in the trenches in a different way, like wholesale and doing all that, but he can see maybe things that can help us that we can't see because he's not as deep into it as us. And then also, our product got up to Portland Cannabis Market. They're intaking it right now and already getting really good feedback from the intake team saying that they like the quality and they're really excited at the numbers and being able to work with us. And so after they finish our intake, I'm going to ask them to move Green Bandit's product, because you already said it was okay, to our Southern Oregon Family Farms shelf, and then try to get them a new. I'll share that the poster I made for up there, because I put that together in like 5 seconds. So our poster that we have on display up there, we'll put that onto a Google Drive, and you guys can add into it, and I'll add Green Bandits and Rogue Ganja's logos and QR codes for their Instagram onto that. And then if you guys want to add anything or make it sound prettier, because I'm the worst at that would really
pictures,
help.
any kind of pictures that you want to upload into the files I shared and created for you guys, that would be great. Like, so in your logo file, and that will help a lot too.
We have like shared Google photo drives, like, so that when if any of us, because I have like a Adobe, like you guys could have the login to our Adobe, you can have the login to our GMAS, like all that stuff. Because so I'm not the only one that's coming up with content, because I'm probably not the best at it anyways. So
She's awesome.
I think that if we share that way, when I'm making content, I can pull from other people's farms, or if you guys are making content, you can pull from our farms, like, so that we can teamwork that. And then we have to talk about the LeafLink logins and descriptions. Do we want to just give them full access to the LeafLink account, and they can update their inventory and add their descriptions? Or
maybe we could vote on that at the board meeting.
Yeah, because we have the LeafLink, and right now it's just been the 4 of us. And so I think we should be able to decide as a group if every member that comes on is going to have complete access to our LeafLink. And I don't really know enough about it. And I think with the 2 of you, that's fine. But as we get bigger and bigger, we might want to hire somebody that does LeafLink onboarding. But right now, since we're so fresh and so new and so small, that we might want to just do our own inventory uploads or inventory management and our own descriptions and stuff like that on LeafLink for now. And their option, we have Southern Oregon Family Farms, and we all are underneath it as like inventory items kind of thing. But for an extra $100 a month, if anybody wanted their own specifically branded LeafLink page, instead of paying the $300, you can get it for $100 a month and have your very own LeafLink page also. So I think that's everything.
Doesn't Patrick have some product up there too?
I don't know. Patrick, do you have product at Portland Cannabis Market? No, he does not.
No.
If you're interested, Aaron, I think is going to get his together and send it up there too. And I think BZS has some up there. And I can see, I haven't talked to Scott because he's been in Alaska, but about moving your guys' product to our co-op shelf too, all together.
He won't mind. I'm sure he won't.
And then I wanted to talk to them after they finish our intake, because that's going to take a bit, about doing their salesperson training with all of us at some point, scheduling like something like this where we can talk to their sales team and let them know about us and our co-op and our farm and how we want to be represented when they're out there trying to sell our product too. I think that'll help. And I did put onto that flyer offering to do like vendor days. And I think Garrett would be a great choice, since we're all so busy, to do that for us. And he seems into it. So anyways, anybody else?
Well, Aaron, you have to get going here pretty soon, right?
I do, but I'll just leave when I'm ready. I'm still listening.
Okay. Well, before you leave, I wanted to talk to you real quick about, as far as code of ethics goes, you listed off 3 kinds of codes of ethics. You kind of gave us a broad view of which each of those is. We're talking about more of the values that we want people to be held to and hold themselves to when unobserved, which is really like a poignant way of putting that, because that's a real ethical person when they how they're behaving when they're not under the scrutiny of other people. So that's really important. Would you be willing to send out an email with like, do you want, let me ask you this, Aaron, do you want to suss out all 3 types of codes of ethics, or do you want to just focus on the one?
I can handle all of anything to do with code of ethics as far as communicating and getting emails out to people to get their input and start putting together a draft that we have continual input and then eventually voted on by members.
Okay, so you're willing to get that ball rolling then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And could you make a Google Drive instead of doing it through email so that we could all just add to it as we see it?
Yep, I wanted to bring it up just so it's in the air so all of you guys can kind of think about it. So you have an expectation of different points that I make. So you have some information to
Very
help
nice.
with.
Very nice. And then Kristine, that is also a good way. Like if you've got, you want feedback on any kind of marketing or anything like that you're doing, anything that you're putting out there and you want like a proof, I always respond very good to email prompts. Like if I get an email saying like, Kristine shared this Google Drive document with you, it always sits in my email until I address it. And that's the only way I can get it out of there is if I deal with it, right? So that's a really good way for if you want any feedback from me, that's the way you get my attention is through email or through any kind of notification from Drive or whatnot. So that's a good way to do it, I think.
Perfect.
So I have a topic that I kind of wanted to discuss and a ball that I'd like to continue to push forward from previous meetings. But before I introduce my topic, is there anything that you guys feel is more pressing?
Just a thought that I have about regarding Garrett is that I would be totally stoked to have you come out at any point to the farm and kind of go through the details of what we do and how we do it. And I would say that because for us, that's certainly like the pitch, when we're in there making sales, we're talking about our storage. I mean, obviously we talk about the grow and all of that, what leads up to harvest, but I like to let people know the details about the harvest and the storage because, here we are selling a 1 harvest per year crop. There's a general consent, an idea out there that like weed's just expiring so fast, and it's not, as we all know. And so, yeah, just wanted to throw that out there that maybe if you want to do some rounds, certainly at our farm, we'd be happy to have you out and kind of that way you have something really to go off of beyond just what we write.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That's kind of how we started off, even with Aaron, Kristine, Devin. I kind of just got out there, did a little tour with them, walked around, kind of seen what they're about, their whole facility and everything. So yeah, I'm truthfully, I'm open all next week. So next week will be perfect for me any day. So
cool. Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think we have your email in the master list. So I'll just look. Next week's actually a bit busy for us, but we'll be here. Well, either way, I'll kind of dig into it and I'll get back with you right away. But
I'm good on weekends too. I mean, yeah. We'll figure it out. I mean, now I think about Tuesdays, Thursdays are my usual travel days. When it comes down to it, I do like to be consistent, especially when, being a vendor, that's one of the things that they rely on is that consistency and just being there every week for sure. So yeah, Tuesday, Thursdays, you can always rely on them. Most likely going to be traveling somewhere. So
yeah, nice. Cool. And we're in Eagle Point, just to let you know, that's like our area.
Okay.
So
right on.
Cool. Patrick's Farm's really close to your guys's, maybe right? So maybe if schedule a day, Garrett, maybe you guys could all coordinate to do it on the same day.
Yeah. So,
if Patrick's willing to, if Patrick also wants Garrett to come out to his farm and kind of personally get to know what you have going on. Okay, cool.
And that's one thing, like we go back to like kind of like code ethics Aaron talked about. I know that's like getting into a little bit more. And that's one of my big sales points is coming in to, from your guys' farms, getting to know you guys and getting to know your facilities. I have sales points for everybody's farm. That is one cool thing. I do like the fact of them going in bare and then just picking that as a really cool factor though. But the sales point wise, that is one thing I thought about was I do like hitting, like Kristine's storage, BZS's monster plant, Aaron's supernatural, like there's all these different, qualities that we all have, you know what I mean? So that is one thing there. And then going back to the leaf link as well. In the future, I know we're bringing on a bunch of different farms. I know Kristine had mentioned doing the like three strains, something like that, kind of trying to limit the amount of strains we have on leaf link and cycling through those as we go out, because all of us are probably growing more than 6 strains this year, especially with how the market is. So we'll be able to kind of cycle through those strains a little bit here and there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So if we have 3 strains being promoted, they still would have access to our full LeafLink account to shop what they would like to purchase, correct?
I think that if our menu only has limited items, it's not so overwhelming for them to go through, especially it's alphabetical order, which I love, because then that's like nobody's getting preference. We have to have a featured product on the top, which we should cycle through every 2 weeks, I think, per farm, or once a week, probably once a week per farm gets to have a featured product up there, which isn't, it just is the first thing on the menu. But if a store has bought from you, you could archive the inventory so it's still in LeafLink, so Garrett or whoever's out there representing it can see that you still have that, and they can put in an order for it if it's a reorder. But we don't want to have this huge menu all the time, unless it's just because it is overwhelming. Some of the feedback over the last couple of years that I've gotten is when you go in with 100 different things, it could get like really confusing, and it doesn't give us any like new content to put out or any reason to email the stores every 2 weeks saying, or 3 weeks or whatever, however often we're going to do it, saying, hey, we got new stuff on the menu. It gives us a reason, something new, something fresh, and we just cycle through it. So it's not as overwhelming. At least that's what I've gotten. I'm not the authority on this. So this is like a discussion topic, like how many at a time do we want to cycle through every, do we want to cycle through every month? Or if there's people that have more products, like if Aaron only has 4 total, then his 4 are going to be on there all the time. But he might want to just 2 at a time so that it seems like he's like new and fresh. Like it's going to be kind of up to that discretion at that point. So sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I feel like there will be a conflict of interest, and that's something that's really important when developing code of ethics, is to identify as a group our core values and our conflicts of interest and stuff like that. So the conflict of interest I see is we have a lot of products. Currently, we have a lot of different products. Patrick with Rogue Ganja has joints. Green Bandit has ounces of bees packaged. So anyway, there's lots of variety of different products that we're offering now, as well as on top of strain variety. So currently, we all probably have a good variety. Not everybody is trimmed and ready for market. So I could bring more strains, Patrick as well, probably Green Bandit. And so we have a lot of stuff that needs, and I personally, if I trim them all and get them on the menu, I don't like the idea of waiting a month before my product is back up on the menu. So I do feel that what you're saying is important. We need to work out how we're marketing our products and make it look interesting, and having different products that are featured. But I think it would be great to still have access to the entire menu of Southern Oregon Family Farms, because in a way that's prestigious in itself, being able to have access to 35 different strains from this huge group. Some dispensaries may take the time to look through our entire menu and find what products best serve their needs.
They could pay the extra
$100 and have your whole menu on there. But I've had multiple negative feedbacks from having too much stuff. Like I've talked to probably like 15 people who have said the same thing in different sales tactics, and Garrett might be able to touch on that a little bit more. But having an overwhelming menu makes it so that people don't want to look through everything. It's like too much. So they could,
I like your point that you make. You pay an extra $100, you have your own.
You have your whole entire own branded menu, and then you can
that page. I may bring over 1 strain every month, and hopefully I get featured.
Or if you have the featured product, we can vote. That could be changed every day if we wanted to. Like that's not just like a requirement. Is the featured product is what you have to have a featured product, and we can easily. It's one click. It's a menu item, and then you just star it, and it goes to the top. We can do that every day. That can change everything. But the way our menu's set up is like it's alphabetical order. So then
name all my stuff with an A at the beginning of the name.
No, it's by brand. So MD
I got it. Aaron Sativa, Aaron Kush.
No, it's by brand name. So it's not by item name. So I'm last on the list. So if there's 100 items, they're going to be looking at mine last, which I'm totally cool with. But maybe I can pull it up. Can we screen share?
Well, what if it is listed alphabetically by strain name? That way it's not necessarily your farms in certain orders, because then
we're limited to LeafLink's parameters and like their availability. Like they have a template that we have to use. So I can show you. It's really
you're good to go to share.
We are on under my license, but the name is Southern Oregon Family Farms. And then I have I'll show you, because we don't have our own farm branded. So the way to do it is Yeah,
I've been to the LeafLink page from I'm going back to it just so I can.
I'll show you the background, like what it looks like on our end, because you can have I have 100% of all of my inventory items in LeafLink. I just have a limited amount viewable to the public because I only have 4 pounds left. I actually need to update it of a few of the strains. I have 150 in reserve. So I have that information in there. So Garrett, when he's talking to somebody, he can say, we only have 4 pounds, but there's up to 100. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go.
There's that elite I was talking about the other day too, Kristine. And we got to get 12 different. We got to get. We can get LeafLink Elite essentially, and I think it'll give us more exposure on LeafLink. It's just we have to get 12 different orders on there, or 20 different orders. We have to update 12 different items. Just some achievements essentially for LeafLink that it gives us the elite LeafLink essentially after we get that.
This is what
so this is what we have it under is product lines right now. That's the only way to keep it. So right now I have BZS, Circle D Farms, MD Remedies, and Southern Oregon Moonshine. I'm going to add you guys under product lines, and then you go into active products, and so you can see the ones that are available are what it's going to be on our menu, and the things that are not highlighted are not on our menu. And then let's go look at the preview our menu.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now is just how it would look to a customer. Yeah. And so, it does look like it's listed by strain name, not by farm name. So
well, it's by product line. So if you look, it says BZS.
Oh, ours looks different.
Material. Circle D Farms, Circle D Material, Crayloa.
Yeah, the way it's showing up for us, and so I don't know if this is the way it shows up for everybody, but at least not on the LeafLink, you're on the LeafLink portal. But the way it shows up for us, just normal internet browser, it's not grouped by farm. It's just listed alphabetically by the strain name. So first one is Blue Frost by Circle D, then Cosmic Punch, and then Crayloa.
So you can filter it. So it's different for everybody. If I click on our link, it automatically goes to our sales portal because of my Google account. So each person that opens it, if you don't have a LeafLink account, it'll go to the generic menu, online menu. If you are a wholesaler or a retailer, it's going to be set to your custom parameters for your LeafLink account. So it's a little bit different for every person. If they don't have an account, they're going to see it one way. If they do have an account, so you can filter, and the default filter is by product line. Whoever's LeafLink account it is can generally put in their own filter parameters. So from what I can see, I'm still not an expert on this, but so we did the gelato punch because I set up the LeafLink account and it was something that I had available to me and we have the most of that product, but it's probably time to switch up. We just haven't set up a good system for that. As you can see the featured product, when you open the menu, it's whatever featured product is going to be up here, and we can change that as often as we like. And then the other ones, we could, even if it goes in alphabetical order or by product lines, I still think having it not be too overwhelming. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things on the menu, which right now we don't have very many farms on there. So it's not horrible, but I still have more product than everybody else on the menu. So typically I make more sales than everybody else on the menu too. And so I think limiting it is going to be in everybody's best interest. Like I'm going to have 21 strains this next year, and I don't want to put all 21 on there and then be like dominating the menu. Like we have to have some kind of like equal.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be 3 either. I mean, we could be more, you know, but just a good cycle, I think, is what we're looking for.
But it gives us reasons to email too. And it doesn't mean that we can't resell like Devin's Gelato Punch if a store really wants it and they can put an order in for it, or we can make custom menus too per store. So per customer, if we go into our customers, we can make each customer a custom menu. If we have like, let's say Addis, they really like buying Cosmic Punch, we can have that all the ways available on their menu too. Like if they, like Aaron was saying, but on our general menu, we probably want to have things that are new, like, hey, Green Bandit has this week. And it gives them a reason to click on our link again, instead of saying, hi, it's Southern Oregon Family Farms, buy our weed. We have something to say to them, like another reason for them to open it and click on it. But we can build off of all of this, but this is our customer base right now. And one thing I do like about LeafLink, so Rec Rehab Consulting, they're not actually an active customer of ours. I sent out an email and they put in a sample request. And then same thing with Treasure Valley Cannabis. If we don't add customers, we only add active customers in, then if somebody else new it tells you what they looked at, and what date and what products they looked at. So Treasure Valley Cannabis, I need to follow up with them and say, hey, I saw that you looked at our Gelato Punch. Do you want a sample? So it's pretty cool in our customer, like see this one customer status, there's nothing to it because they're actually not one of our clients. And then you can switch. I put these descriptions in and change them. I just put active client, first order, occasional, which occasional is if they haven't ordered in 60 days, they go down to an occasional. If they've ordered more than 60 days, then they're an active client. Sampled, which Rec Rehab is going to get transferred to that as soon as we do a sample drop. And it just helps us go through of where they're at. And then disqualified is somebody that isn't paying us or is a bad actor. They stole product, they moved product off and it ended up in North Carolina or something like that, because that's happened. And
yeah.
Like that.
That's cool.
But we can add as many of these in as we want, and we can save different service zones. Like I just started putting them in by city, but now that we're getting more organized, I think we're going to need like North, Central, and Southern Coast. We're going to need like Central Oregon. We're going to need we're going to need Portland. We're going to need Eugene. And so that's going to help us narrow down sales calls when clients click on our emails and we divvy up work. Like Garrett will be like, okay, Garrett, you take Central, these areas. And so, but that definitely needs some work. I've not done it yet.
It's going to be nice to have
extra help.
Yep.
So then this is cool. You get a sales funnel and all of your active clients. So it tells you by color, you can decide and so we have 9 active clients. We have 5 that have first order, and we have 2 occasional right now. I know it's a huge sales. Pretty overwhelming, right?
I need to transfer all of our clients over. It's all still on Apex.
Brandy's been working on that, and it looks like most of them have been transferred over. And so we do need to, we started with Apex, so we don't have 100% of our sales data in here yet. And I don't know how about putting like post-dated orders. Exactly. I'm still working on it. So, but
I'm going through right now and just making sure that our customers have transferred. And if they're not, I'm putting in the contact information in there, and the sales rep that was working on it and matching it up. So it's going to take me a minute.
But I'll add all of you guys in as users. I think, well, we guys have to vote on it, but my vote right now is basically that you guys both get your own logins and you can update inventory. Like you can put 100% of it in there if you wanted to, like I did. Like, here's my hippie crippler A-grade oil material. That's not like, it's my jungle juice A-bud that I have 35 pounds that I haven't had tested. And then I have 25 pounds that are tested in inventory. So one's available and one's not available. You guys can add pictures and descriptions and kind of get used to it however you want. Eventually, we're going to have to probably have standardized like picturing and standardized descriptions that we're going to use all together. But for right now, just getting our stuff on the menu, I think is going to be good.
Sweet. I have a thought on how I might want to organize our leaf link as far as going onto the SOFF board or onto this page that I'm looking at. And so, because I do think I certainly like the idea of paying the extra $100 and being able to have like a Green Bandit leaf link that I'm guessing could be very easily, like if the customer's here looking at this and they go on and look at whatever else Green Bandit has, they'll be able to navigate from here, right, to the Green Bandit.
I think so. We haven't done it yet, but so from what I was told is, so if a customer wants to buy Green Bandit's product and on LeafLink, and or let's say like Circle D's, because he doesn't have his own LeafLink account, he's under Southern Oregon Family Farms. They're going to have to search by Southern Oregon Family Farms and pull up the menu, or search by product name, like Blue Frost flower, which is going to pull up all the Blue Frost flowers. So the benefit of having your own branded page is that a customer can search Green Bandit and your actual own sales page, like your own menu. And when you're underneath the co-ops, they can't search by just Green Bandit. They have to search by Southern Oregon Family Farms, or they have to search by your product name. So I was told when we had the onboarding, but they have great customer service. They have a ton of like videos you can watch online. And we've only done like the original onboarding kind of thing. And we've just been kind of like limping through by ourselves right now because we don't have time. But if you wanted to, I could add you on, and then you'll be able to chat with somebody and ask questions with like an actual salesperson from LeafLink and tell them that you're a member of under our LeafLink and that you were told it's $100 to add your own branded page. Because if not, it's $300 if you're going to do it yourself. But you kind of jump off of this, and then it'll go under brands over here, I think. Settings, it'll be under brands here. Because right now it's only Southern Oregon Family Farms brands to be linked to your page, or we can add add more brands. So for $100, we can each have our own branded complete menu of everything, and then limited menus on the Southern Oregon Family Farms one. But there's a lot I probably don't even know because we're just learning. I think we've had it for like a month. So
yeah, it's usually how it goes.
I want to go ahead and I'm going to stop. I'm going to finish up here. We're going to stop the recording. But am I understanding that from your perspective, that main Southern Oregon Family Farms menu, we should have like 3 flower options per farm? And
I just don't think like I should have 7 and everybody else has 3.
Yeah, no, I think that good. And to be clear, when I went to the LeafLink menu through our website, it was all of the flowers were in kind of random order. They weren't in like any specific groupings or whatever. So if somebody is new to LeafLink, it's not like BZS is going to be at the top and Circle D. You know, that's not necessarily. And there is a featured flower, so that's pretty cool. But would you, I mean, is there any feedback on what Kristine was saying in terms of like limiting the number of options on the Southern Oregon Family Farms menu? And if you guys want to have a separate full menu of all of your additional products, you could pay the $100 a month for that and add that to the web to the LeafLink. Is there any feedback on that, or is that something we can kind of conclude?
It looks like Sarah and Brian have some feedback.
Yeah, just because I like the idea. I like taking your experience, Kristine, that, you know, if it's overwhelming, that's what you have. People's attention spans are pretty short, obviously. So what comes to my mind that I would want to do is probably run the 3 to 5 varieties that are on SOFF as like a weekly special or as a monthly special. I don't know where I would put that information in, but kind of it makes sense to me to be like, whatever I put up on the board is kind of like, just to get people excited about it. Oh, this is a special. Those 3 would be a lesser price than when you go to Green Bandit's Leaf Link and you find, you know, the rest of the menu.
That's a good.
There's also, you can generate promotional codes on LeafLink, which is so cool. And Brandy made one, buy in July, you get 10% off, and it gives you some content, but in an email saying like Green Bandits 5% off or what, like you can make a promotional code that it'll be the same price on the menu, but if they put that code in, they can get certain products for a discounted price. And so if that's what you like, that's cool too, if that's what you want to do. And then I was on Aaron's touch base on Aaron's product lines. Like,
Yeah.
I think like as a flower, we should be like, okay, 6 or 10 strain, whatever it could be 10. Like, honestly, it's just like the more farms that come on, but we just want it to be like not so overwhelming. But pre-rolls, any oil products, any value added products, those are going to be completely different. Like you can't just have just 5 total menu items, but maybe 5 A bud flower, maybe 5 B bud flower, maybe 5 like different product line options. I think all of your like if you have, so there's a product lines, you can say pre-rolls, and then underneath the pre-rolls are subcategories like different strains that you have. I think 100% of those should be on the menu right now because we don't have anything like that, and it's going to give us, it's going to be more attractive. And Garrett, yeah, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, that's 100% up behind you on that. I think like any other categories, concentrates, pre-rolls and all that should be added on there. You know, maybe eventually when we get big enough, you know, limited, of course, you know, to how many different lines you have, of course, you know, or strains, however that may be. But yeah, that's just going to get us more exposure right now. We need more concentrates, pre-rolls like that on there for sure.
Okay,
cool. Right now, I think we should probably put as like, I have 6. I think maybe we start with 10 and then we can get feedback and we could just talk about it every week. If Garrett gets negative feedback, he can say, hey, this is overwhelming. Let's switch it to 7 or whatever too. So I think we could start big and then just grow on it as long as we're all like thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and kind of end this meeting, but then we can continue to talk like we always do. But I wanted to also let everybody know that we are moving the meeting date, the general meeting date from 10 a.m. on Wednesdays to 4 p.m. on Thursdays, because we want to be able to use the morning to be out on the farm and then instead meet when we're indoors at 4. That's why we're doing that. I'll make sure that everybody else knows that's on our email list. That's all I got.